Buongiorno everybody. Welcome to Dorina's Kitchen. Here I am, ready to show you something new today. It's not really something new. I'm sure most people have made some version of this before, but today I'm going to show you how to make my pasta al forno, which means baked pasta, where in America most people are used to baked ziti. But honestly, my favorite is rigatoni. So in Italy, it's called pasta al forno, which means pasta that's in the oven pasta. So that's what we're making today. First thing I'm going to do right now, though, is I am going to throw. I already had my water boiling, so I'm going to throw my pasta in the water to cook. Actually, I don't think I salted it. So 2 big tablespoons. Don't forget to salt your water and salt it well. It's not so much that it's gonna be horribly bad for you, but it does give the flavor to the pasta. Then you can go lighter on the salt in your sauces, because it's really important that the pasta has flavor. So we got one. Oops, let's do these quickly. What did I do with the other one? There it is. And 2. I think 2 pounds should be enough in case I know somebody's going to ask me. So I use a brand called Granoro, Granoro. I've said this on here before. I don't know where you can get it here, except for I know I can get it in New Jersey. If you're in Morris County, New Jersey, the farmer's market on Route 10 carries it. Good price too. But there are other stores that carry it. But anyway, if you can get your hands on Granoro, it's made in Puglia. So this is pasta that is made in Italy with Italian wheat. So if you have a little bit of a gluten intolerance, heritage wheats and things that aren't genetically modified, don't bother your stomach so much. Okay, now we're gonna start our sauce. So I already started doing some of this. We're making a quickie bolognese type sauce. We need carrot, celery, and onions. I've already cut some of it up. What I wanna show you though, take your carrots, especially since we're doing this quick, because this was kind of a surprise, hey, let's have everybody over for lunch. Cut your carrots, in half, and then cut them into 3 or 4 pieces like this so that you get little teeny pieces. They cook faster, and it's not big giant chunks in your sauce. So, and then just cut them real fine, and they'll cook up real quick, even though it's a hard vegetable. There we go. And we're gonna put this over here with our carrots that are already in the little cup. I'm going to do another half an onion. So now what I'm making today, though, I got to tell you, I'm making part a bolognese and part a plain sauce because we have a couple of vegetarians. So I'm making some with meat and some without. Okay, and I've got some onion right here. And then same thing with the celery, cut it into a bunch of little strips so that you can cut it into little teeny pieces, and it will flavor your sauce very nicely and quickly. So we're gonna start with 2 sauces. We're gonna have, let's see, got the pasta there. So I got the big pot here. With this one, we're going to start with, I'll leave some of those onions. We're gonna make the meatless one sort of bolognese too, just minus the meat. We're going to put in celery, leave a little bit for those guys, and some of the carrots. So we're going to let these cook down until they're nice and soft in the olive oil. We're going to make some plain tomato sauce. So we're going to put these aside for a minute because we got a lot of things going on. By the time the pasta's done, we have another burner. So we're going to have some regular sauce. Okay. And this one we're going to start with some olive oil. Also some onions. Now this isn't my normal tomato sauce, but we're making this a little more substantial today because of putting it in the baked pasta. So we're going to start with some of these same things. We're just not going to be putting any meat in it. One last thing. Oh, it's right here. the garlic. Can't make a sauce without the garlic. So we got 2 pots of sauce going. One's gonna have meat in it in a few minutes. These are big cloves, so I think I'm gonna, oh, there's a smaller one. Okay, 2 big ones for the big pot and 2 small ones for the small pot. And what we're gonna do to enhance the vegetarian one, we're gonna put some vegetables in it. There we go. 2 big ones, 2 smaller ones. So we're gonna just rough chop these. Not too small, because I'm gonna go ahead and put them in now, so I want them to be kind of closer to the size of what's already in there cooking so they don't burn. And they're sitting on top anyway, so they'll soften while the other stuff cooks. Again, you can put the whole clove in, the big giant clove, and just let it flavor the oil with everything else and then pull it out if you don't like. I love garlic. Just not too much of it. I like just that right amount. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cook the pasta to a strong al dente, because it's going to go in the oven and cook some more. So we don't want it to be too, make sure it's not too mushy. Okay, it's very important, very important. Okay, so while these babies are cooking, we are going to start making some bechamel sauce. You do not have to make baked ziti with bechamel. I love bechamel. We're going to make 2 kinds. We're going to make some with ricotta and some with the bechamel, just so you can see how I make it both ways. And I'm going to make each tray half and half so the kids can taste it both ways. So what we're going to do is first, I've got my pot on. I'm going to warm up. This is 4 cups of milk. I'm making a little extra because I'm making 2 of these. Usually my recipe is a 3-cup recipe. So we're just going to warm up this milk. I'm just going to take it off because when I'm making my bechamel, you know, we're going to pour the warm milk in, but we really want it. It goes so much quicker that way. So anyhow, okay, now let's talk about the ricotta really quick. Let me tell you something about ricotta if you're going to buy it, okay? Most of your ricottas in the store have too much crap in them. So there's a brand called Galbani, and there's other ones as well. You want their old-fashioned or their classic or their Italian or their country, all those words. Read the ingredients. It should have about 3 ingredients. This one has milk, vinegar, and salt. That's it. Then it says contains milk. I guess if you have an intolerance, I guess you should know there's milk in it after they told you the ingredients. But milk, vinegar, and salt. That's what makes ricotta. If you look at some of the other ones, they have milk and carrageenan and guacamole. I mean, all these crazy ingredients that you can't pronounce. It's like 5, 6, 8 ingredients. If you're going to buy ricotta, buy the plain old milk, vinegar, and pinch of salt ricotta. It's regular, normal, just right. Okay? So please, read your labels. Okay, so this one is the meat sauce. I'm going to go ahead and throw the meat in. Oh, now, I've got 2 pounds of organic ground beef in here. Let's see if I can do this without my handy dandy chopper. Got that all nice and broken up and spread out. And now it's time to take the pasta out. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the pasta out of the water because it's ready. I'm going to put it in a big bowl. Okay. So now, I've got this big pot of pasta. So we're going to use some store-bought tomatoes today. What I like about these, I love the boxes. Con la vita, I like boxes. I like the jars much better than the cans. You know, if I'm in a pinch, I'll get a can, but I think these are a little healthier, supposedly. So this is I like these boxes too. I like the size because sometimes when it's just the 2 of us, or I just want to put a little bit of sauce in something, this is smaller. I also like the jars because they're closable. And I don't have to take it out of the can and put it in an extra jar. Okay, we need some water. This was kind of a last minute decision on what I was making today, so I'm going to put a little water in there. Because you don't want a really thick sauce when you're making this because you've got so many things going on and you want it to spread around. I'm going to put half of this in, this one, and then the rest I'm going to put in here in just a second. I want the meat to be a little bit more browned. When you're making something like this, you need some kind of a glue to hold it all together, so we put more tomato in there. That's beautiful. I think I'm going to put one more in that baby there. The one good thing about tomato sauce is that, you know, you can never make too much because it stores and freezes. So, you know, don't ever think, oh, should I make some more? Just make some more. You can use, because, you know, there's a lot of things you can do with tomato sauce. You can make leftover tomato sauce. You can make sloppy Giuseppe's. You can add a scoop to soup. You can just make some like fried steaks with sauce, with tomatoes and garlic and some hot pepper. Yum, yum. So you can always use some tomato sauce. Everything's all nice and broken up. I've got this beautiful pot of meat sauce cooking, and this is gonna stay here and keep on. Oh man, look at this. So nice and beautiful. All right, so we're gonna put that on that burner. Move it back. And turn this one off for a minute. And we've got our hot milk. We've got our little smaller pot of sauce, which is actually a beautiful. Look at this, how pretty it is. Nice. Okay, this pasta here real quick. Before we let it go, we're gonna grease it up a little, just a little. You just need a little teeny bit. You don't wanna over oil it because you don't want the sauce slipping off the pasta. But this is, it'll soak up the oil, but it'll keep the pasta from sticking together. So see how nice this is? Okay, so we're just gonna set this aside for the moment. Now we're gonna make our bechamel sauce. And we're going to mix our ricotta. In here, I have 2 pounds of ricotta. So I'm going to put, hopefully no shells, and 2 eggs. I usually put an egg per pound. And we are gonna flavor this with some nutmeg, because you know I love my nutmeg. And actually this is gonna go in the bechamel also. Gotta get my handy dandy scraper. What do you call it? My thingy. Okay. So we're going to mix this up. You can put anything you want in this. We're going to put a little bit of my oregano from Italy. You can spice it. You can put hot spicy stuff in it if you want. We're going to put some regular, let's see, some regular salt and pepper. A little black pepper. Sometimes I'll put the white pepper in. I actually really like that. Grated cheese. You know, it always gets stuck together in the refrigerator. Put a little bit of this in here. For a little more. That's why I don't put too much salt. I would rather salt it with flavor of cheese than salt. Okay, so this one is ready. We're going to set it aside. And now let's check on our sauces. Again, you just always be stirring. Embrace the stir. Love the stir. Okay, one thing we haven't done since we have it out, and we haven't salt and peppered this, so pepper. I like pepper. The big one, let's throw a little more in. And then some of my nice little bit of sea salt. Now, you know, some salts are saltier than others. My pink Himalayan sea salt is not as salty as my big white sea salt. It's pretty funny. I'll put the same amount on. I'm like, this doesn't taste much. So it's interesting. I don't know. It's weird thinking that salt could be saltier. I don't know. Okay, so now we're going to start making our bechamel sauce. So now we're going to have the last, well, second to last piece of our components. So we're going to start with, normally I have 5 tablespoons of butter and a 1/4 cup of flour, but I'm doing a whole stick of butter. So that is 8 tablespoons, or 113 grams, I think it is. All right, so that's all nice and melted. We're gonna put in this 1/2 cup. You can go 50-50, like if you're doing 5 tablespoons of flour, butter, you can do 5 tablespoons of flour, which is about, is that a 1/4 cup? It's about a 1/4 cup. Or you can double it up if you put a little bit more, you know, as long as it's about 1/2 and 1/2. So like a 1/2 cup of butter, I did a 1/2 cup of flour. If you want a thinner bechamel, to more of a drizzle or something, then put in just a little more butter and or a smidge more milk. Okay, So you always want to cook this for a minute, okay? Because you want to cook the flour out. You want to get it cooked. There's a difference between a raw flour taste and a cooked flour. So it's just cooking a little, and it's getting thick. I mean, let me show you what it looks like. Let's see. So see, it's very, at this point, it's kind of gloppy, but it'll still fall off the spoon. So, you know, it's bubbling. It's good. It would get a little thicker if I let it cook here too long. And now what I'm going to do is start putting the milk in. So this is already warm, and it works much better when it's warm. And it's going, it's thickening the milk, and it almost looks like cream of wheat if you've ever had that. So now it's got to cook, and it's going to, in the very beginning it's really thick, and then of course you put the rest of the milk in and it's kind of thinner again. So you really want to stir this for a couple of minutes until it starts to really thicken. So I got a piece of garlic there. So see, look, see how much slower it's going and it's staying in the spoon? So we're getting there. All right, I think that's pretty much done. So I'm going to let that sit. Actually, no, I'm not going to let it sit. I didn't flavor it yet. Doing the same thing we did with the ricotta, except we're not putting egg in it. The egg bonds the ricotta. This is different. It doesn't need it. We're putting some nutmeg in here. For some reason, the nutmeg flavors the bechamel stronger than it does when you put it in the ricotta. I don't know why. Oh yeah. A little pinch of salt. Now this we're not putting cheese in. That we're going to put in separate. Yeah. So a little white pepper. I like it that way. It's different. It's a little different hint of pepper flavor. Okay. All right. That's that. You know, I can't give a bunch of college boys just pasta and meat or pasta and cheese. Gotta have some veggies. So we are going to warm this pan up and put some olive oil, because you gotta have olive oil. A nice coating on the bottom. And now some garlic. So what I have behind me, those greens, some people will call it chicory, cicoria in Italian, which is a very broad term. It encompasses a lot of greens. It's basically your bitter green. So what you can, this particular one here, I bought it under the name of curly endive, or curly endive, as some people will say. Yeah, whatever. But in Italy, it would be cicoria, verdura, but the cicoria is a curly leaf, chicory is a curly leaf. You can also use, some people will call dandelion greens chicory or cicoria. So, you know, go with any kind of bitter, curly, leafy green. They're always going to be good for you. You can treat them all the same. You can put them in lots of different things. It's good stuff. Okay, the sizzle of the garlic and the olive oil. One of my favorite things. So now, while we're doing that, bring my cicoria back over here. And what I'm going to do with this is, I'm going to show you. So I cut the end off and wash these leaves because they're usually, I mean, this is organic, but they still, sometimes they have some dirt in them or one little dead piece of leaf inside. So I'm just going to cut these into some pieces. And then as these brown, get a little more, using all my wooden spoons today. I just want them to start to sizzle and get a little teeny bit golden. I don't want them to burn, because once I put this stuff in, it's going to be a whole different story. And then we're just going to wilt it down, toss it in the oil. This is not like broccoli rabe, which has a much tougher, these, you know, kind of almost, this is almost lettuce-like. It's definitely softer. It doesn't take as long. You can eat it raw. It's a bittery, not really that bitter. It's just a little tougher, let's say, than your standard lettuce. So let's put this in before those burn. So we're going to turn this over. I'm going to show you how I do this. You just take it from underneath and turn it over. And take it from underneath and turn it over. You know, take it from under this side, turn it over. It's pretty easy if you're just careful, and then it wilts down and you don't need that much. I am going to put a little more olive oil in it, just because I put a lot more greens in there. Let's mix them up. Okay, here we go. Ready? We are going to assemble some ziti. So we're going to start with this. Now, I don't want to mix the sauces. What I'm going to do here, see how they stayed nice? They broke up, you know, they didn't get all stuck together with that, just that, it was probably a tablespoon of olive oil I put in. What I'm going to do right now is take a little bit of the plain sauce and just stir it around here. You all never, ever, ever start anything with plain pasta. It's always got to be sauced. Even if it's just, look, see how it's just pink? It's got to be wet with the sauce. One with the sauce. Because that already starts infusing the tomato sauce flavor into the pasta. And you're guaranteed that inside here you won't get any white pasta. Okay. Okay. So we're going to make one of these. Going to be one. Crisscross. We're doing some serious pasta making today, right? Two. And this one, we're probably going to end up making an extra one. But we don't want to fill these up too much because we are putting all this other stuff in. So, here's what we're going to do. Get rid of that. Alright, so we've got some bechamel here. We're going to put some bechamel on this half. We're just putting in blobs, spoonfuls of this in here on this half. And then we're going to put some blobs on this half. And you know what? It doesn't matter which order you go in. You can put the cheese in first, the sauce in first. It doesn't really matter. You know, let's put some meat sauce in here. Oh boy, this is heavy. This is divine. So we're just going to mix this in. It's just the way you do it. Okay, that's going to be a nice heavy dish. And then this one we're going to make with the regular sauce. And let's put the sauce on first, then we're going to put the ricotta. I don't like it getting all, the bechamel's different. For some reason it's okay to smush it around a little bit, but I don't like to do it with the ricotta. I don't know, I'm weird. So we're just kind of making sure that the sauce goes all the way down, even though we already gently sauced it. We are now putting this all around here. Woo! Just kind of jiggle it in. There's some bechamel mixed in there. Now we're going to put some ricotta in, blob of here, a blob over there, a blob over here. That's the way you do it, and just have fun with it. Okay, blob there, blob there. I love blobs of stuff. Okay. And we're just going to kind of, see, some people will mix it completely. I like it to be like you get a, you know, a mouthful of something that all of a sudden there's a little pocket of the cheeses, you know. So that's how I like it. So I just kind of dig it in there. So 1/2 on each one has bechamel and 1/2 has ricotta. So of course I'm gonna make everybody have a spoonful of each. Now, just to show you, I grated. Please grate your own mozzarella cheese because, okay, I did it and then I left it in there. When you buy the stuff that's pre-grated, it's got so much crap in it. Just like I was telling you about the ricotta, you know, has all this other stuff in it you don't need. I don't even know why they do that. It probably lasts longer. But anyway, but same thing with the mozzarella. When you buy the bags of shredded mozzarella, number one, it doesn't melt as good because it's got stuff on it. It's got anti-caking agents on it. So we're gonna sprinkle some mozzarella on top. Sometimes I like to kind of dig some of that in too. So we got one with meat and cheeses and one meatless and cheeses. Both of them taste good, no doubt about it. And then, of course, you gotta put some of this cheese on top. Ooh. Now there is another thing you can do. You can put breadcrumbs on top of these, and it's like really nice. Almost like, you know, like a mac and cheese, an American mac and cheese. I mean, no, I like American mac and cheese, I'm just joking. But, you know, you can breadcrumb the top too, and it gets nice and crispy in the oven, so it's really nice. Now, I always save some sauce because once this is out, then I put a little more sauce on top. So you could bake this, I could put more sauce on it now, it's all up to you. I'm gonna put a little bit of the tomato sauce around the edges. I want them to crisp up. I love those top pieces that are like crunchy and almost burnt. That's just me. But, you know, just put a little bit around the edges here where it's kind of a little bit naked. You want to put a little bit down the middle, that's fine. But we want to save some to put on top. That's why I always make a little extra of plain tomato sauce too, because the meat sauce doesn't really, you know, make a nice, you know, it doesn't drizzle like a you know, just a tomato sauce does. So there we go. So I'm gonna put these two in the oven, one vegetarian, one meat. Oh my God, the meat one is definitely heavier. And I do want to show you the greens. So, you know, we could have taken some of this and, you know, put it inside the pasta. That would have been good too, but I want everybody to have some. So, and this is just like a piece with the stem. I don't know why I couldn't bite it off, but anyway, nice and soft. So it doesn't get overly, you know, they're not tough like some of the other more like kale has real tough stems, but if you cook them right, you can make those tender too. But these are more tender to begin with, so these are really nice. This will be a little bit on the side, have a little bit of bread, and they're gonna have a nice lunch. I'm probably gonna make a little salad also, just have a, even though it's another leafy green, I'll probably use up the rest of those raw pieces of the curly endive. So that's what we've got today. This is something that can bring the family to the table, and it's definitely something hearty that will keep them there for a little bit. Don't forget, make a dessert. You can always keep them at the table a little longer. Just don't make it too sugary, you know? But anyway, I really hope you guys have a nice day. Please do me a favor, like and subscribe to all my stuff. Everything under Dorina's Kitchen, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you name it, I'm there. Please, and also dorinaskitchen.com. Please go and subscribe to my website, because that's how I'll always, you know, if the whole internet falls apart, you'll always be able to find me, because I'll have your email address and I can find you, you know, so of course I know you want to find me, you know, saying. So have a great day, and I will see you next time right here on Dorina's Kitchen, where we are bringing people back to the table. We're saving the world one table at a time. Oh, I just love that. Doesn't that sound cool? I'm such a goof. All right, love you guys. Mwah. Ciao.